Well, good morning, good morning. Good morning from Massachusetts. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're watching me from. If you're watching the recording, thank you for taking time out of your day to catch up. And I'm going to do a quick check on my laptop to make sure that you can see me well, hear me well. If you're watching, give me a thumbs up or just say, I can hear you, I can see you, so I know that we're good to go. Okay, things look good on my laptop. I hope they look good and sound good for you. It's just a little after 9 here in Massachusetts. I'm on the east coast of the US. If you're watching and want to type in the chat where you're watching me from, I'd love to know. Again, thank you for taking time out of your day. I always promise at least a half hour, but don't you know I love to teach, so I like studying with you all. So we usually go for about an hour with these lives, okay? I'll be checking the chat as much as possible. If I miss questions, I'm sorry, but I will try to make time towards the end for any Q&A. Stick around because we have a fun topic, problems and solutions, things that we all have to deal with. And then I want to tell you about a very special opportunity, an offer that I have for any advanced students out there. I have something special this month to tell you about, so please stick around for the whole live stream. And we'll have tasks up until the very end, so please stay with me the whole time. Aman was the first person here. Hello to you, and thank you for being here from the beginning. I see, is it Schadenfreude? Okay, I love your little stickers with the sunglasses and the heart. Julia, hi there. So glad to have you here from Myanmar. Surprise. Can you tell me the number of planets? You come up with the toughest questions. You know that people debate whether or not, well, I think most people agree that Pluto is no longer a planet. But I'm old enough to remember that back in school, Pluto was a planet. I feel bad for little Pluto. It's called a dwarf planet now, isn't it? Okay. The order. You can remind me what the order is. Anyone want to take on that challenge posted by Surprise? What are the names of the planets, and can you tell me the order? I do know it starts with Mercury, right? And go all the way out to little old Pluto. Hello, hello. I love the little ghosty too. Stunning Lad 1. Hi there, Kayal Sharma. Glad to have you guys here. It's actually quite nice. It's cloudy outside here in Massachusetts, but I put on my winter coat just because the mornings have been chilly. But I started to feel hot as I was walking my dog. So I started to unzip my coat and realize finally the spring temperatures are arriving here, because even last week we still had snow, like not a lot on the ground, but we had snowflakes for sure. So it was still chilly last week, but now it's April, a new month, and hopefully we'll start to see more signs of spring here. So again, tell me where you're watching me from. Curious about the weather. Do you have sunshine? If you do, I hope you send it my way, because I would like to see some sunny skies this weekend. Vitali, hello, glad to have you here. Is it Abel Jabarov? Hello, glad to have you here too. Okay, super. So I threw out the idea of tackling problems and solutions, and then my YouTube channel members helped me decide what kind of focus we should have, and they chose grammar. So that's what we're going to do today. Okay. Oh, look at Kyle Sharma. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Awesome. And we're going to stick on little Pluto because I feel bad for that dwarf planet, little Pluto. By the way, I was taught in school, we had little songs to help us remember the names of the planets. And I grew up saying Uranus. And then I heard later that there was the alternative pronunciation, I think Uranus, but it sounds so weird to my ears. But you can go to dictionaries and check out the two possible variations. But I grew up saying Uranus. Ramana Gorla from India, hello. Sweltering is a wonderful word. Julia's starting us out with a vocabulary challenge. Who knows what sweltering means? Are we on the hot end or the cold end? And of course, if you know your geography, you should know the answer to that question. I'm sorry, I like warm weather. I do not enjoy sweltering weather. Saida, good to have you here. from different places. Thank you for taking time. All right, guys, let's jump in. Let me see if I can work my magic and share my screen. There we go. I'll look at my laptop to make sure you can see what I see, and then we'll move on. Oh, a good one, Vitali. Okay, guys, take notes from each other. Sweltering. Julia gave us sweltering heat, sweltering temperatures. Vitali gave us scorching. We like to do scorching hot. It was a scorching hot day, right? These are extremely hot days. Scorching is like burning, right? So burning hot, scorching hot. You can say, oh, it was a scorching hot day. Or how is it outside? Oh, sweltering, sweltering temperatures. Usually, of course, we stick with basic vocabulary to be honest. We say it's just super hot, really hot, so hot. But again, when you really want to emphasize those extremes, you can use words like scorching, sweltering. Lovely. Okay. Ruslan, hey, haven't seen you in a while. Glad you're here. What version of Microsoft? I think I have 11. Okay. All right, guys. So YouTube channel members, remember after the live stream, as usual, you will get a review task on the community tab. So the topic is problems and solutions and the grammar to express them. I'm going to target 3 situations to start out, and we'll see if there's time to explore others. As I scroll down, you'll see 3 pictures. I don't think you need to see the very bottoms. What kinds of potential problems do you see in these situations? 1, 2, and 3, right? You can view them, oh, that's interesting, with optimism. Nice, they're traveling, he's eating, they're going somewhere. Pessimistically, there's probably potential problems in each of these situations. What could happen here in number 1? What could happen here in number 2? What could potentially go wrong in number 3? Okay. Think about where they are. When you start describing something, it doesn't have to be full sentences. Just come up with the vocabulary that you know. People, crowd of people. What kind of place is this? Perhaps a ticket office, ticket window. What kind of tickets are they buying? Doesn't look like a movie theater, right? Could it be what? Bus station, train station? These people are kind of gathered together here, but these people have clearly formed a line, right? Standing in line, waiting in line. When you start thinking about vocabulary, see what kinds of phrases you can come up with, like we had before: scorching hot, sweltering hot day, standing in line at the ticket window, right? The metro is packed like sardines. You can drop the article, Julia. Packed like sardines. Yeah, I've definitely seen cars packed more than this, but it's starting to fill up, right? Yes, Ruslan, the long queue. Americans say line, but you can say queue, right? Maybe the line is starting to form, right? And sometimes, even if it's a short line, there can be problems at the window. The customers ahead of you might have many questions or some kind of problem, and it takes time for you to get up there and have your turn, right? So waiting in line can be a problem if it's a long wait, right? Or having problems with your ticket. You bought the wrong ticket. It's the wrong time. Maybe you were overcharged. Let's write that word down. Who can write that? Uh-huh. Oh, good, good, good. Okay, now we got some more specific problems. Vitali, thank you. Standing, waiting in line. Stunning Lad 1, thank you. They could face a delay, right? If they're waiting in line and they've cut things close, right? If they've cut things close, then they didn't allow enough time to wait and buy their ticket, right? The train leaves in 5 minutes, and this guy is like 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth in line, and he might miss his train. So he could or all of them could face a delay, right? If the train is delayed, that's possible. Or if it's canceled, they might have to get booked on the next train. Number 2, the customer is upset about the bill. Why would a customer be upset about a bill? Get even more specific, right? He's looking at his bill, and what might he see? Number 3, let's see. People crowded at the ticket counter. They're running. Good phrase. A skeleton staff. Skeleton staff, understaffed is the other way to say that more simply. In a lot of places, from restaurants to stores, at my local pharmacy, they are understaffed sometimes, and there's just one person to help. Or at a restaurant, there's one person to serve a large area of customers, right? And you just have to be patient because they're running on a skeleton staff. They are understaffed. Every time you hear new words, interesting phrases, note them down. We're working together and coming up with a good list of vocabulary. At the end of the live stream, review your list, right? An argument could break out. Yes, it could. Over what? You argue about what or over what? Maybe the bill is too high. Yes, Vitali, overcharged is the word here. You can get overcharged for something. Or maybe they added something twice. There's like a duplicate. They billed you twice for, I don't know, a soda, and you only ordered one, right? Or they overcharged you. You know the price for your steak was $30 and they charged you $50. Right? Overcharged. You usually don't complain when you're undercharged, but you should point it out, right? Do you agree? The customer lodged a complaint against the overcharged bill. You could also say the customer complained that he was overcharged. It's perfectly fine what you said, Julia. It's very formal. Lodge a complaint. But usually to say voice a complaint, or you simply complain about the bill because you were overcharged. Small Talk is here. Hello, and Susan, I see you. The price of the wine is more than, yes, maybe the price, you didn't look at the price, but now you see it and you're like, oh my gosh, like $47 for one glass? What kind of wine is that? You thought it would be 15, for example, right? Hey, Susan, Alberto's here too. Okay, super. And over here, again, it's not packed yet. Julia gave us the phrase packed like sardines. Sardines are those little itty bitty salty fish in a can. And you know, they're packed tight. So sometimes we use that metaphor, or actually it's a simile, packed like sardines, when you're tightly packed into a small place like a train. It could be packed. This train isn't packed yet, but it could be filling up. Again, with transportation, there could be delays, cancellations. What else could go wrong? There could be a problem on the track. Everyone has to get out and wait for a new train, right? The doors won't close. Something could malfunction. In short, there are lots of potential problems everywhere. We have to be ready to handle them, but hopefully if we think positively, few of these problems will occur from day to day. Yes. Okay. So now we need to think about how we express problems and solutions. Okay. I'm going to make this a little bigger for us. We'll do one at a time. I'll go like this. Can you see that? Okay. So let's work with if clauses first, right? The first kind of clause we're going to look at are real situations. So we could use the if clause, that first part with if, to state the problem. The second part can be the solution. And remember, when you first learn these conditional sentences, we often teach you if and then will, or if and then would. But if you're talking about general truths and situations, things that are common, you can stick in the present tense, and especially if you wish to give advice or offer a suggestion, you can use other modal verbs. Will is a modal verb. You have the option to use others, like can, might, and should. So let's make a couple of examples here. Okay. Oh, Stunning Lad 1 gave us another word, vent. Vent their anger, vent their frustration, vent their disdain. When you're venting, you're releasing that negative emotion. You need to talk to somebody or scream or yell. You're releasing it, you're venting it. Good one. Okay. All right. So what if you're at the ticket counter, you're waiting in line? Oh, you didn't anticipate that. It's like much longer. You thought it'd be 5-10 minutes to get your ticket. It's now 15 minutes and you're still not at the front of the line. If there is a long line, what can you do? What might you do? What should you do? How do you deal with a long wait, a wait that is longer than anticipated? Can someone help me finish this one? That's number 1. 2, if you don't have time to wait in line, do you have another option? Give me examples with can, might, and should. Super, Vitali, thank you for reminding everyone the grammar. Take your frustration out on someone. Take your anger out on someone. Yes, be patient. I will use that one. You should be patient. I like that. Simple advice, right, Ruslan? Right? You should be patient. So notice the grammar. Let's remember, with this type of conditional, we're using the present tense here because this is a general piece of advice. These are common situations, real and likely to happen. Very possible. If you don't have time to wait in line, what can you do? Sometimes there are options, right? Do you have options online? Do you have to wait in line to buy tickets these days? Fizz World, hello. You could also add this one. Maybe like 2B. If you choose to wait in a long line, I'll put that one there. This happens. I try to remind myself about my options because sometimes I really don't have much time and I get stressed out waiting and I want the line to move faster. But other times I know I have the time, I'm not in a rush. But then how do you handle that long wait? How do you make it so that it's not a waste of your time, right? Patience is a virtue. Oh, so true. If there is a long line, Monsoon says, you should reschedule. Yes. If you don't know, you should might, right? Can reschedule. You can reschedule your appointment, reschedule your trip, right? I don't know. If you have flexible plans, right? This is true of anything. Like also, this happens on the phone, right? How many of us have been on the phone? They place us on hold. We listen to this music. We get tired of the music. And you can decide, well, I'll just do this later. I'll call back at another time. If you don't have time to wait in line, if you don't have time to be on hold, you can move things around, change your schedule. You could reschedule things. Oh, yes, you can converse with other passengers. You can make small talk. You should be nice to everyone, and most importantly, never cut in line. Oh, yes, that's right. If you choose to wait in line, you should never try to cut in front of others. Oh, let's put that down. That's a good one. I like when people are so nice, even though it's frustrating and everybody wants the line to move faster. I sometimes encounter the really nice people say, oh, were you ahead of me? Go ahead. Or like, oh, I'm sorry, did I cut in front of you? Oh, those are nice people. Everyone's not like fighting to get to the front, but often there are nice people who are trying to make sure that everyone's being fair to each other, right? I'd say if you don't have time to wait in line, just come back later or see if you can purchase something online. Right? You can purchase tickets online. If you choose to wait in a long line, you might watch a video or listen to music on your phone, right? Exactly, Emmanuel. That's what I was thinking. You might buy online, right? You should never try to cut in front of others because that's not what you would want other people to do to you. I agree, okay? So let's remember, if conditionals for real situations can stick in the present tense. We'll use the present tense in the if clause to explain the problem, a common problem that we all likely face from time to time. And then we can offer solutions with can, might, and should. Okay, super, super. Let's try 3 and 4. This is switching it. So you can use the if clause for a strategy. And the result clause is how you avoid the problem. Okay, so problems can occur with your bill. How can you avoid that problem in the restaurant? If you check your restaurant bill carefully, what should you be able to do? What can you avoid? what might you discover, right? If you check your bill carefully, sometimes you look down, our eyes always go to the final number, the final amount. You're like, whoa, $50. I thought it'd only be 30, 33 or 35. You need to check and look at all the items on your bill. Why? Because if you check your restaurant bill carefully, what might you find? I see your other suggestion, Julia. Surf online. Kill the time, that's good. Surf online, browse online. Oh, that's nice. I like what you suggested, Stunning Lad One. Give elderly people and families priority. Oh, that's nice. Oh, you guys have some good ideas. Check out ideas in the chat. There's lots of ways to kill the time, and not kill the time, but just pass the time, right? Because you can get other things done in line. Okay. Yes, you can find, I don't know if do we say mischarge? A mistake. I would simply say a mistake, an error in the bill. I'm not sure if I would say, I'm just going to do a quick check on my phone, opening up the dictionary app. Of course, the dictionary app through, oh my goodness, so many ads on the apps these days. Free apps have so many ads, don't they? That's a problem. But if you don't want to see ads, you have to buy paid versions, which I don't want to do. So I'll handle the ads, right? mischarge, mischarge, mischarge. You know, it is a word, but I don't use it really. I mean, it's technically there, but it's not part of like everyday conversation to say they mischarged us. I'd say they made a mistake on the bill. They charged us for something that we did not order. So, but it's totally possible. Mischarged, had been mischarged. Thank you for reminding me of that verb, mischarged. You may spot an unexpected charge. There's a good collocation, an unexpected charge, right? Something that you didn't, service charge, right? Yes, there's what you bought, and then sometimes restaurants or hotels, they add on a service charge, just something. They do that. There's those little hidden fees that in hospitality, they get you with those little fees, a service charge. If you check your restaurant bill carefully, you might spot a mistake on the bill, right? You may find the mischarge to your bill. You may spot an unexpected charge. You might spot, let's write that in, unexpected charge. You might discover you were mischarged. It sounds a bit more formal, but it's possible. If you ask a polite question rather than voice an angry complaint, right? Think about that guy. There's a couple ways you can handle this problem, right? You're in a restaurant, you see a mischarge, it's unexpected. Your first reaction is negative. Are you going to scream and yell, or are you going to ask a question politely? So again, this is the strategy. If you ask a polite question rather than voice an angry complaint, what will be the outcome? Can, should, might. Okay. Without casting aspersions on any particular eater, you might find items you didn't actually order and get charged for them. You guys are using some pretty big words today. Okay. Goodness. My goodness. I'm opening my dictionary app and I swear there are so many ads today. That's annoying me. Lots of ads, and yes. Okay. But we'll deal with them, right? Because if we want a free app of any kind, we know that they need to stay afloat. They need to have some means of keeping their business going. So we understand it's a balance here. Yes. Again, you could use, be careful with a lot of advanced vocabulary. I've said before that it's good to know these words. we can put them in our passive vocabulary for a start and then decide in time, is it worth making active? If I'm turning to my dictionary for aspersions, it's probably telling you that I don't use this word. So passively, I can understand it in context, but it's not something that I would actively use even in my writing. So that's why when I put vocabulary videos and lessons together for you, I carefully choose which advanced words I think would benefit you. So there are definite words that are worth putting in your active vocabulary. Some of them I would say, wow, that's impressive. Great that you know it. Keep it in your passive vocabulary. But if you throw a lot of these kinds of words out there, a lot of people will have trouble following you because it's not common vocabulary that most people are familiar with. Okay? All right. You may find your bill become smaller. I like that phrase. There is no harm in asking, right? There's no harm in doing what, right? If you ask a polite question rather than voice an angry complaint, you might find resolution more easily, right? There's no harm in asking about a charge, okay? Maybe you are mistaken. Maybe they just need to explain it to you. But if you do need to voice some kind of complaint, you can voice it as a question rather than an angry complaint. Like, you overcharged me. That's an accusation, and somebody is not going to respond easily to that with positivity. They're just going to go on the defensive. But you say, I'm very sorry, but I'm looking at my bill and I think there might be a mischarge, or I think you might have overcharged me, right? That kind of language definitely will serve you better and not make the other person so defensive. Could you please check the bill again? I think there might be a mistake, right? There's no harm in asking about a charge. Knocking without criticizing or saying something bad about a restaurant. Okay, so remember, we can use our if conditionals to state a problem, then get into the solution, or offer a strategy and say how that strategy is going to help you avoid making a problem even worse. But we can also use conditionals and make them unreal. This is when we start to play around with those verb forms. Some people call it backshifting, where the present becomes the past and the past becomes the past perfect. I don't love the numbers like 0, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, but you can think about it that way. I tend to think about real and unreal. So we're shifting now to unreal situations in the present. We're just imagining some possibilities. So we're going to shift present verbs to past. Remember, if the verb is be, we're going to use that subjunctive were. If I were, if you were, if she were for all the subjects. You will hear people, especially native speakers, they bend and break those rules and still use was, like if I was you, if she was here. It happens. But technically, were is the nice signal word that this is just hypothetical. We're imagining. If I were on a crowded train and there were no seats left, remember the result clause. This is when we get into would, right? Do not try to put would with the if clause. I like to say that if is usually not friends with will and would. Will and would go in the result clause. So what would you do if you were on a crowded train and there were no seats left? How do you handle that situation? If I just missed my train by a few seconds, what would you do? What could you do? There's the other option. Would and could are possible. I might ask some verification on it. Yes. You might ask for clarification. I like that word a little bit better. I might ask for some clarification, right? If I had looked at the charges, I would have realized I didn't have enough money to pay for dinner. Yeah, don't go in if you realize you don't have enough cash or you don't have a credit or debit card. That would put you in a very awkward situation. Okay, Manuel, glad to have you here. Oh, so glad you're here. Okay, well, I'm glad Julia cued you in. that there is a live stream. I usually go live, guys, on the first Friday of the month. If you have not noticed the pattern, I do my best to hold to that because it's good for me to remember too. Ah, first Friday, time for a live stream. I'd be fine standing because my commute is not that long. Yeah, if you missed it. Or if you're on the train. Yeah, if I'm on the train. I would, remember, we can use the contraction, just like Vitali did. I'd be fine standing, right? If you really are packed like sardines, then the other people are going to hold you up. You'll be fine, right? If I were on a crowded train and there were no seats left, I'd just hope that everyone else would hold me up, right? If I could, I would grab onto a strap, right? I'd brace, right? When you brace for something, you're ready. So physically, you put your 2 feet apart and you get ready to balance because you know the train's going to move and there's going to be shaking. So I'd brace myself and do my best to balance, to keep my balance, you could say. Oh, speaking of ads, I think they're popping up now for us, but thank you and bear with me. Okay. What about if you just missed your train? I mean, how many of you have done that? Whether you ride commuter trains or subways, metros, underground, many of us have experienced this, right? Like, you know the train's coming, you're racing down the stairs, hoping you don't fall. You get there and the train is just pulling away. Or you use the door, you think maybe, just maybe I'll get through that door. Although that's very dangerous, isn't it? To try to jump through the doorway as the doors are just about to close. You know, they say don't do that, and still many of us are tempted to do just that, so we don't miss the train. And it's really not that big a deal, right, when you think about it. If you do miss a train, you just wait, right? If I'd brought my debit card, the extra cost would not have been a problem. Yeah, if you always have extra cash or another card on you. So what would you do if I just missed? Again, you're imagining this. That's why we're shifting from present to past. You're just imagining that possible situation. Not that it's likely, but it could happen theoretically. If I just missed my train by a few seconds, I would wait. So yes, we need a little preposition. I'd wait for the next one, right? I'd check the schedule. I'd check the schedule and I'd wait for the next one. Good idea, Monsoon. Let's just stick in 4. I'd wait for the next train. Super. All right, so problems and solutions can easily be expressed with if conditionals. You can stay with real ones if it's a common problem, like if you ever see, and if you ever also just confirms that it possibly could happen. Right? If you ever spot an unexpected charge, remember to voice a question rather than a complaint and ask for clarification. And then just giving advice to people like, you know, if I were on a crowded train, I wouldn't ask someone to get up and give me their seat unless I had like a broken leg or something. I'd be fine standing. Whoops. Or if you missed your train, what would you do? I'd wait for the next one. I'd remain calm, I'd check the schedule, and I'd wait for the next one. Okay? Yeah. What if? All right. Let's talk about other ways to present solutions or ways to avoid problems. Okay, I'm going to put this down here. How about these phrases, these expressions are going to help join ideas together so that, in order to, as a way to. Let's make sure you're comfortable using these. Remember that a lot of the time people drop that, so people get confused. Do you need a comma or not? You do not. There's 2 different structures. There's so, which is a part of fanboys. So when you're showing a result, that's so. So don't confuse with so as a coordinating conjunction, which requires a comma, right? Maybe someone can put an example in the chat for me. I missed my train, comma, so I waited for the next one. That's a coordinating conjunction. We have two independent clauses and we need a comma. I missed the first train, comma, so I waited for the next one. So that is similar to in order to, and we do not need the comma, right? I braced myself so that I wouldn't fall. I braced myself so I wouldn't fall. I braced for movement, right? So I prepared not to fall, kind of thing. So if you have so that, a lot of people drop that, but it's understood, and you don't need a comma before, okay? Oh, Manuel's giving another tip. You should always make sure you use the base verb, Manuel, in your example. You should always book your seat before a trip so that you can avoid, so that you will avoid, right? If you're talking, again, this goes back to the advice, what you can do to avoid a problem, stick in present tense and real situations, right? You should always book your seat so that you can avoid, or so that you will avoid. You could do future, a bad one. You should always plan ahead before a trip so that everything will be smooth sailing. Very nice, Julia. Yes, smooth sailing. You're guessing that. I have a new lesson that I'm working on. I already filmed it. I just need time to edit it for you guys. And smooth sailing will be one of those idioms. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. I usually get up early in order to avoid being late for an appointment, right? So that I'm not late. So you can always find ways to use either so that and order to. I use in order to more than so as to. To my ears, this sounds a little more formal to me. A lot of the time we just use the infinitive to express a purpose. I wake up early so that I have enough time. I get up early enough to exercise, for example. As a way to is like as a means. How do you use something to serve you as a benefit? So you should always, I like that one. You should always plan ahead. I like Julia's idea. We'll put that in here. Plan ahead before a trip so that, whoopsies, everything will be smooth sailing. You're pre-teaching of idiom for me, Julia. Everything will go fine and well, easily and without any problems. For those of you keeping a list of interesting phrases, idioms, vocabulary, you can add that one, smooth sailing. I usually, what did Manuel write? Get up early. Get up early in order to avoid being late for an appointment. And again, you could say, I usually get up early to avoid being late. So we can just use an infinitive of purpose, but sometimes for clarity, it's good to write in order to. So you need to make that choice if you're writing. Do you need to be very clear and write in order to, or are you trying to be very concise? In which case you can just use the infinitive. That's your choice. Okay. I carry my own water bottle as a way to keep myself hydrated. Well, I do this because how many of you know I just took my recent trip and I couldn't find a water fountain immediately at the one airport in California. So I did end up buying a water bottle, like a bottle of water. And you know, at airports, it's crazy expensive, a bottle of water, right? Anywhere from like $5, almost like $10 for a bottle of water. It's crazy. I just don't want to spend like $5 or $6 on a bottle of water every time I'm thirsty, right? Hey, Seta's here. Glad you're here from Turkey. Okay, I carry my own water bottle when I fly as a way to cut down on expenses. I just think the airport prices for water are crazy, right? as a way to avoid paying for drinks. Yes, just drink water. Why do you have to order other kinds of beverages? Water's free if you find a water fountain. So again, problems and solutions, right? You don't want to have a rough trip and a problematic trip. So plan ahead. Plan ahead so that everything will be smooth. You don't want to be late, so you get up early in order to avoid being late. You don't want to spend a lot of money on airport beverages, or the airplane charges are also very high, although they do give you free water, but you have to wait for them to go around and serve it to you. So if you don't want to wait, it's best to carry your own water bottle and fill it up for free in the airport. When you carry your own water bottle, it helps. It's a way to cut down on expenses. So what do? I carry it as a way to cut down on expenses. That's true. Those of you who love coffee might say, Jennifer, it's worth it. I'll pay the $5 or $7 for a coffee. Okay, super. We've looked at if clauses and we reviewed so that, in order to, as a way to. Yes, you could replace this with so as to. I usually get up early so as to avoid. It doesn't sound like everyday English to me. It depends on the tone that you're going for. If you're trying to sound more formal in your speech or writing, then yes, you could switch that. Okay? Yeah. I'll move on, but as I move on, I'll also be checking the chat to see if you have any practices or habits that help you avoid problems. And you can give me other examples with so that, in order to, as a way to. What has life taught you, Manuel? That too many thoughts become a crazy situation. Yeah. I definitely try to clear my mind in the morning in order to start the day calmly, right? And also at night, I try to meditate or do something soothing so that I can fall asleep easily and have restful sleep. Right? Oh, I know another tip that I can give. I don't know how many of you have problems with your ears when flying, taking off and then landing. I have problems with the altitude, so I drink water, or I swallow, or I force myself to yawn, right? Because I use yawning as a way to relieve the pressure in my ears. Yeah, I have to do that. Hey, my hippo is here. No worries. You can jump right in. Okay. All right. Oh, I wanted to point this out. I love sharing resources. I know you guys have Copilot, you have ChatGPT, you have a lot of AI tools out there, but there are existing tools that also are limited to a specific job, but do that job well. Thesaurus.com and Word Hippo, I like these. Let me give you a quick glance at them. Hopefully you can see if I switch over here. Right? So there's dictionaries, and then there are things called a thesaurus. Remember, a thesaurus is made to give you a synonym, right? So what was one of the earlier words we had? Scorching. I like that word. Whoops. Blistering, firing, sizzle. Oh, look at that. You guys match each other. I think it was Vitaly maybe who said scorching, and Julia said sweltering, right? So you'll see a good match there. Right? So synonyms are present in the thesaurus, and I like how they list it in terms of strong matches and weak matches. Okay? So that's one way when you want to expand your vocabulary and say, oh, I don't want to say hot. I need another word. Well, check it out. Or scorching. Oh, Julia said another word. What was the other word? Type in scorching, and a thesaurus might give you sweltering. Word hippo has a lot. You can see the tabs, synonyms, antonyms, meaning opposites. But for example, you could see what is another word for in order to, not just a single word, but an expression. And so if you come to their list, their search results, they're going to present so as to, with the aim of, so that. So you can search through and see which ones are you familiar with, which ones are you comfortable using, so that you don't keep falling back on, relying on the same structure all the time. If you're writing a paragraph and this is the second time you've said in order to, you might say, isn't there another way to express a purpose? I could use so that, or maybe as a means to, as a way to. So just note the resources that you have. They're all free. There's the thesaurus.com, thesaurus.com, and this is wordhippo.com. Okay? All right, super. Onward. I do have more tasks for you, but let's start. We have about 15 minutes together, and stick around because I still have yet to tell you about my exciting news for April. But let's review one more set of structures, and we can use the topic of problems when trying to learn English, right? You can imagine in these kinds of situations, what might be the problem, right? She's struggling to do something. What is it? Or these people are having a conversation, and what might be a problem? Okay. These are structures that I've covered in videos. I know I've covered with private students and in group classes. Let's see if you're familiar with these kinds of structures that put the focus at the end of a sentence. So, for example, you could say, oh, vowel sounds. That's my problem. Or contractions. I have problems with contractions. What challenges me is pronunciation, especially vowel sounds, right? You could say pronunciation challenges me. That's fine. But using the structure, what challenges me is, you're putting the weight and the focus at the end of the sentence. Right? So again, you could say pronunciation challenges me, or you can start with this WH cleft is the grammar term for it. You're using this as a focus. What challenges me is pronunciation. You can fill this in with what challenges you, if there's something else. Okay, I'm looking at the chat. The thing that challenges me is, right, grammar, particularly conditionals or phrasal verbs. You choose. Right? You know, you've reviewed, you've studied all the conditionals, but still you mix up those verb forms. Right? Do you use would? Do you use would have? So you could say grammar challenges me. But the thing that challenges me, you're saying the thing, and then you follow with this adjective or relative clause, that challenges me. And again, it's a way to focus. You're focusing on pronunciation. You're focusing on grammar. So this is the focus part. Let me put that in a different color. There are shorter ways to phrase these ideas, but these structures are very effective at putting the focus at the end of the sentence. Interesting way. One thing I find challenging is, you could use a gerund, reducing repetition in my writing. Again, another structure that puts the weight, the emphasis, and the focus at the end of a sentence. Something I'd love to get better at is writing concisely. Not many of you have taken me up on my challenge, my writing challenge, so we'll see if we'll continue, because I haven't seen a great response, but I've posted 3 short videos so far called a writing challenge, and I challenge people to take a wordy sentence and make it better, right? Reduce repetition, make it more concise. It's a wonderful skill to master, to say things clearly and concisely. Something I'd love to get better at is what? And technically this is an adjective or a relative clause. Something that I'd like to get better at. I oath that the pronunciation don't hurt my mind. Being understood, you are not Oscar Wilde one. Manuel is committed to not repeating. Yes. All I really want to do is speak clearly and accurately, right? I just want people to understand me. All I really want to do is speak clearly. I want to point this out. Here, if you have a structure with any form of do, this is why I did not use speaking clearly. Like up here, I said reducing, writing. I used gerunds. Here, I used the base verb because this one has do. All I really want to do is speak clearly. All I want to do is master conditionals. All I want to do is get a strong handle on phrasal verbs. Okay? One thing I find challenging is hyphenated adjectives, right? Compound modifiers, for example. I'm probably going to give some of my channel members the opportunity to work with these structures. As you review them, you can make your own examples. We've had if clauses. We looked at structures like so that, in order to, as a way to. And now I'm reminding you that we have these advanced structures to help us focus on something at the end of a sentence, right? So this is a way to highlight something like a challenge or a problem. Spelling, yes. Spelling can be a problem. What challenges me is spelling, or what sometimes challenges me is spelling, right? We all wait for autocorrect. Yes, fascinating structures. All I really want to do, so Manuel, good. I'm glad you posted your example because you have all I really want to do. Do is there. It forces us to use a base verb after is. All I really want to do is see people smile when I'm speaking. Right. That's it. When you're talking to someone and someone starts looking at you like, it doesn't make you feel good, right? Like, you're not being clear and they're struggling to understand you. I get it. I've been there with my Spanish, with my Russian. I'm trying to use what I can to say something and hoping that people understand me. But when they start looking and squinting their eyes, you know that you're not quite successful expressing your idea. All I really want to do is put a nice sentence together and have people understand me. But all I really want to do is speak clearly. You need the base verb, okay? Challenges in spelling. Grammar and spelling. Yeah, check the short videos, guys. Remember, I'm trying my very best to keep up with short videos. I usually post 2 to 3 times a week, so check out the short videos, guys, okay? All right. I would like to take just a few minutes now to tell you about the solutions I can offer to English language learners. Do you know? Actually, it should be like a guess what? Guess what solutions I can offer? Some of you know because some of you have nice little colorful badges next to your name, which means you're a channel member, a YouTube channel member. All of you watching are part of my larger community, and I thank you for being with me. My YouTube channel members have gone one step further and signed up for channel membership because they can get more practice on the community tab. Like today, they're going to get a follow-up task after the live stream, right? Just a little bit of practice. I also offer them short weekly quizzes. Some of you do them, some of you don't. It's just a short 1-question quiz. So it's a little bit of support that I can give to you. The channel memberships are completely affordable. It's like 99 cents a month, okay? I do apologize. Google doesn't make it available in every single region, but many regions it is possible. So if you see the join button, just click and you can become a channel member. And I thank you because some of you have been channel members for years, and I thank you for that, okay? But that's one step further into my community. Today you've been with me and I hope you've enjoyed it, but wouldn't it be fabulous if I could see you and turn on your cameras and turn on your mics? That is what we do on Patreon. You can get more in-depth practice and feedback. Where can you get monthly Q&A sessions, not just through a chat, but live? It's on Patreon, okay? Some of you know about this. I see some members here. In fact, some people have taken a lot of steps into my community. So they are YouTube channel members and they've made a stronger commitment by showing up on Patreon and joining my community there as a lifelong learner. If you're part of the Patreon community, you are with me at least once a month because I hold classes in the morning and at night. So it depends on where you live. Some people can attend both live sessions. Some people only attend one and then watch the recording of the other because I have people in different time zones. I have a morning session early in the month and then an evening session later in the month. These are two different classes. So there are two Zoom classes where mics and cameras are on. We interact with each other, so you don't have to listen to me all 75 minutes. There are pre and post lesson tasks to help you prepare and then master material. There's a lot of exclusive materials on Patreon. It's not just interaction with me, it's interaction with your fellow members, your fellow lifelong learners. And we don't just focus on speaking, although many people want to improve their speaking. People who join me on Patreon understand the importance of working on all skills. If you're following me here, I'd say your level is high enough. I need you to be B2 minimum to handle the tasks that I give you on Patreon. The topic for this month, my members voted. It's vocabulary challenge, vocabulary for everyday challenges. So if you like the topic of problems and solutions, we're going to extend that and expand that on Patreon starting next week on April 11th and then later on April 25th. Okay. Yes, I have a couple of Patreon members here with me today. So I would love for you to go to this. I'm going to put it there in the chat. Where are we here? Boop, boop, boop. Okay. Back to here, guys. All right. I want you to see the link is there. That's the link to Patreon. Just take a look and see what you can get. Okay. There are a lot of things that I can offer, and I'm trying to make it more enticing this month because I'm able to offer more than usual. So not only do you get what I just listed, like the live classes, the tasks, you're getting access to everything that I've posted in the past. So there are literally like hundreds of hours, not 100, but like over 100 hours of recordings, right? So you get the two live Zoom classes for live instruction, feedback, and the topic is always chosen by my members. You get the independent tasks, so you can practice what you've learned in addition to real-time instruction. So it's not just the instruction, it's instruction plus tasks plus the feedback, right? Office hours, that's something new that I've offered. So once a month for right now, I show up on Zoom and people come and ask questions live. It's wonderful. Even if you don't have questions, you show up and see what other people are asking and you learn from them. So it's a chance to receive answers to questions, request recommendations, gain clarification, or ask about recent tasks in real time. On Patreon, there's also a Q&A board. So if you can't make office hours or you don't want to wait till office hours, you can post your language questions any day of the week, right? So this is what you get, boom, right away, every single month. But in addition to that right now, there's quite a lot that I'm throwing in there. This is what I mentioned before, 100 hours. Like there's a lot of Zoom recordings from the past, right? They're there. You get access. So if you have the time and desire, you can watch other recordings, right, on various topics and all the other tasks that I've offered in the past, okay? But I am making my poetry collection as a bonus right now. So if you sign up on Patreon right now, it's in the shop. And if you're a lifelong learner, you can get it for free right now. It's just part of my way of saying welcome to the Patreon community, English with Jennifer. It's a PDF and MP3s. So I'm not charging you $18, you just get it as part of your Patreon membership. So if you join the English with Jennifer community on Patreon, you get everything I promised per month, right? Each month, this is what you get. And in addition, you're getting all of this, especially my poetry collection. I love poetry. I've shared poetry in past live streams. If you've enjoyed it, it's yours, right? Just sign up. When you're thinking, I don't know if I want to pay anything, Jennifer, but I'm telling you, you have nothing to lose because I am promising right now, if you sign up, I will guarantee, if you don't like it, if you decide it's not for you, I'll give you back a third, your money. Simple as that. It has to be within 30 days. So if you come to the first class and you realize you're not at the right proficiency level. Or if you decide, I thought it meant classes every day, but I'm telling you it's not classes every day, it's classes twice a month. But you'll decide, does it fit your needs or not? If it does, great. If it doesn't, you have 30 days. Tell me that it's not working out for you, it's not what suits your needs right now, and I'll just refund you. Okay? Super. Okay, thank you. My hippo, thank you, Stunning Lad 1. Okay, so guys, seriously, it is a very affordable option if you want that kind of support and feedback. It's something that I can offer to my Patreon members. Once you join the English with Jennifer community, I am there to support you much more than I can do right here, right? I would love to support your learning more, and I can do that when you join the membership program on Patreon. It's the English with Jennifer community on Patreon. The link is there in the chat. Check out all the benefits that you get. And I'm telling you, as soon as you sign up, you can download your poetry collection. Even if in 30 days you say, Jennifer, this is not for me, you got the poetry collection. It's yours. And you can check out other Zoom recordings and other previous tasks. There's a lot of bang for your buck there, okay? If you want to go beyond these public live streams, if you want to interact with me and other people, you want corrections to things that you do, this is the way to do it in a group, okay? So please consider the English with Jennifer community on Patreon, especially before April 9th, guys, because after April 9th, this is going away, okay? So it's like a special offer right now because I want to welcome people before the first class of April. I need you to sign up and get ready for our first class. All right. Whew. So I hope some of you are going to go over to Patreon and sign up. With the final minute or two we have left, thank you for staying here till the very end. I'm going to challenge each and every one of you with this final task. Okay. On the theme of problems and solutions, I have a listening challenge. Some words are missing. I want you to listen for them. I'm going to read the text at a natural pace. Try to catch the words, put them in the chat, and then I'll read it more slowly and confirm what you missed and if you got them. Okay? All right. Let me see. You ready? Get ready to type. Jake always swore he'd start early, but somehow deadlines crept up on him like shadows in the night. He spent hours researching, aka watching cat videos, then panicked at the last minute. His boss wasn't impressed. Next time, she said, try meeting the deadline before it meets you. I'll read more slowly. Jake always swore he'd start early, but somehow deadlines crept up on him like shadows in the night. Good. Swore. Right, he said with certainty. But somehow deadlines always crept up on him. Always crept up on him. Good. Right, crept, past tense. He spent hours researching, aka watching cat videos, then panicked at the last minute. AKA, super. You can see it written different ways. My hippo did that. I see it often like that. AKA, otherwise known as watching cat videos. So researching means he wasn't doing actual research study. He was just surfing the internet. Maybe he was browsing and watching Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube videos. Then panicked at the last minute. His boss wasn't impressed. AKA means otherwise known as. AKA, by the way. Next time, she said, try meeting the deadline before it meets you. Julia, watch your spelling. Crept, not crapped. And that's a vowel sound. Not crapped, crept. Because crap is pooping. You don't want that. Okay. Good. You got part of it. Try meeting what? Try meeting the deadline before it meets you. You need the article, the deadline. Right? And that's a play on words, right? Because we meet deadlines, right? So try meeting the deadline before it meets you. Let me read all of it. Jake always swore he'd start early, but somehow deadlines crept up on him like shadows in the night. He spent hours researching, aka watching cat videos, then panicked at the last minute. His boss wasn't impressed. Next time, she said, try meeting the deadline before it meets you. So I think one of the tasks I'll give to my YouTube channel members is to give some advice to Jake using some of the structures that we practiced today. Okay. All right. That's it, guys. We're winding down now. Thank you for joining me for Problems and Solutions. Again, I hope that you understand that one solution to any of your language challenges could be Patreon. I'm going to copy this one more time and remind you, the first class is next week, April 11th, and then we have another one, April 25th at the end of the month. The topic is vocabulary for everyday challenges. Okay. Vocabulary for everyday challenges. All right, let me go back here, put this in the chat. Oops. There we go. I guess I didn't put it in there. It's there now. Okay. All right, guys. So I thank you for joining the public live stream. It's how I'd like to help everybody each month to give you some support. Channel members go a step further and they get some extra practice after each live stream. But when you join the English with Jennifer community on Patreon, that's where we really can interact. And I'd love to have you join the group. If you're following me now, your level is high enough, right? We don't have captions here. We don't have captions on Zoom. But the cameras and the mics are on and there's interaction throughout the month. I try to be as responsive as I can. You do not get feedback from AI or anyone else. You get the feedback from me. All right. So it's not a speaking club. It's a group of adult learners who are committed to learning from month to month. And we focus on all skills, not just speaking. We understand the importance of working on vocabulary, pronunciation, writing, grammar. We pull it all together. So there could be a focus like this month, vocabulary, but the vocabulary will be practiced through speaking, through writing. And as I see what my students produce, I come up with additional grammar tasks to correct things and to reinforce more accurate structures. So I'd love to have you join the community. If you got something out of today, imagine how much more you could get out of the experience on Patreon. There's the English with Jennifer community on Patreon. It's my membership program. And I'd love to have more people join the group, okay? And you get my poetry collection. I love poetry, and I hope if you listen to the recordings, you'll hear my love for poetry. It's a wonderful way to boost your listening, pronunciation. Hopefully the poems make you feel good. If not, inspire, just make you feel good. And that's what you want. All right, guys, lovely that you've joined me here. Thank you. Oh, I see the gift. I see it now. Thank you, Stunning Lad 1. Thank you for your generous gift. I loved it. And I thank you, everyone, for your participation. Okay? I'll answer some questions later, surprise one. I see you're asking me about Pittsburgh. That was my hometown. It's been some time since I've been back, but okay. All right, guys, lovely, lovely to have you here. Take care.